let me say, I see a lot of young people here. And this is fascinating when you talk to young people. I want to ask something. Can we have a dark way? Because first of all, I am a photographer. This is my, let's say, my profession, a wonderful and beautiful profession. And I express myself many times through photographies. And that's why through pictures. And what I have today is the idea to present you some of my experience with indigenous people in Colombia. I worked there almost for 35 years with the Kogi people, with the Arhuaco people, with the Wiwa people in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. And obviously, we want to talk about cultural diversity. What does it mean? What are the main challenges of our world when you look to cultural diversity? And let me say that we face so many great challenges in our world that it's very difficult to find the clear solutions. If today, when you see it from the environmental side, we have so many problems all around the world. We are destroying our biodiversity. All our natural places are not anymore there. The vitality of the nature is not anymore there. And that's why environment is one of the main issues today. When you see climate change, then it's obviously related to human behavior, but also it has a great impact on the environment. When you see and you face the big challenges of the economy, well, see what we have today in the world. There are many big crises on the economic sector, but obviously it's interrelated. When you see the damage to environment, it's also with relation to the economic procedures and to our development model. For many, many, many years, our development model has been only in one direction. And to engage the cultural diversity of our world was not a problem, was not in the agenda. And when you see on the side of cultural diversity, some years ago, we have had 6,500 different cultures in our world. Today, we have 5,000, and it's decreasing. Why? Why don't we take into account the traditional knowledge of so many cultures that are related to a specific kind of environments? And that's why I want to make my presentation about Colombia and especially the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, where I can say I have learned so many beautiful lessons that provide me the possibility to move to be the Minister of Environment in my country, to establish a NGO in Colombia. This was the Fundación Pro Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. I was the director of this foundation for 13 years. And I created the foundation with the indigenous people, with the peasants, with the business sector, with the political sector, with all the different stakeholders. I engaged them to be part of the foundation to protect the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. I don't know how we will go. Okay. A tropical microcosm of Colombia's reality. When you go to the Sierra Nevada, you find all the problems, all the beauties, and all kinds of situations of Colombia in a very small and tiny place. That is the highest intercoastal mountain all around the world. You will see it. Colombia. Ay, el bichito. El bichito. Just a second, please. Well, we have, this is our, uy, uy, uy. Sí, un pititín. Okay. Here is Colombia. It's, well, I love my country, obviously. No, but I have to say that it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. When you go to so many places in the world, you find beautiful places. But this Colombia concentrate some interesting phenomena, like, for example, we are the most biodiverse country in the world per square kilometer. We are number one in bird species. We have 1,800, 1,900 bird species. For the whole Europe, it's 440. Yeah? And all these species are concentrated in Colombia. Why? Because we have the Amazon region, we have the Orinoco plains, we have the Andes, this mountain range who come inside Colombia. It opens in 3 big branches. You know, so it provides different kind of valleys, different kind of ecosystems. We have the Pacific coast. Uy. Ahí volvió. Muy bien. Good energy. Okay. We have the Pacific coast. This is the most diverse site of the planet. No, the Chocó area in Colombia. We have wonderful rivers. We have the Caribbean. We have swamps, big swamps. Well, we have everything. It's a wonderful country. And there is also something that we have to look very carefully. For example, this is a bridge between North America, Central America, and South America. So all kinds of migrations, human migrations, plants and animals, they have to migrate through Colombia. So it's a special place where all kinds of situations has happened in the past. And when you have so many important ecosystems, you have human groups related to different kinds of conditions. That's why we have 102 different indigenous communities in Colombia, each of them in different places. We have, for example, in the Guajira Peninsula, in this side, it's a desert. We have the jungles of the Amazon, the jungles of this area, the Orinoco, okay, the mountains. In the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, it's a tiny mountain here. It's an isolated mountain from the Andes Cordillera. It's younger, but at the same time, it's the highest intercoastal mountain all around the world. It reached 5,775 meters above sea level, only in 42 kilometers from the Caribbean coast. So it's a big mountain in front of the Caribbean. Okay. We have in Colombia a wonderful constitution. And that's why we have a special kind of protection for indigenous people, but also for our natural environment. Here you can see, this is, I am sorry that it's not so dark that we need. But all what you see here with these lines and here in these colors are indigenous territories, protected indigenous territories. Then you have the national parks in Colombia. No, all the green national parks in Colombia. The Sierra Nevada, it's an indigenous territory, but it's also a national park, a double way of protection. And it's a biosphere reserve from UNESCO. So 3 kinds of legal protection for the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. It's like a pyramid, no, with, you can see here, no, with a big swamp nearby. It's a water factory, a wonderful water factory. It has 30 different rivers that burns in the Sierra Nevada, in the snow peaks of the Sierra Nevada. All kinds of ecosystems. This is a unique place because you concentrate all kinds of flora, fauna, representative to the American tropical area. It's concentrated in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. Let's start to say that when Alexander von Humboldt went to America, he produced a wonderful research and a special kind of new geography of all kinds of plants, the tropical plants, and he was in Chimborazo. He was in, aquí pasó algo. Juliana, auxilio. I am an old guy, so I cannot use such kind of technologies. It's not with me. So Alexander von Humboldt, he created a new way of thinking for Europe. He introduced the different climatic zones of the tropics, and he made it in the Chimborazo. He never went and he never visited the Sierra Nevada. I am sure that if he could be in the Sierra, he will stay there forever, because it's a wonderful laboratory, human and natural laboratory. Well, there's no peaks. Let's move through the Sierra. I'm sorry. The condors, we have the greatest population of condors in Colombia, inside the Sierra. The different lagoons, they start from the snow peaks and create the rivers, but they are very, very important for indigenous people. We will see it later. A special kind of species, for example, in amphibians, we are #1 in amphibians in Colombia, all around the world, also. No? So it's very, very interesting. And this is a frog that lives up in the 4,500 meters above sea level. By night, when the temperature change, it goes below 0. because the altitude. And this frog, he stopped his heart and stay so till the next day when the temperature grows. So it's a very interesting adaptation, no? And it's a unique species, it's an endemic species of the Sierra Nevada. So many endemic species that are only related to the Sierra Nevada and not only the Sierra, but in Colombia also. We have plenty of such kind of endemic species. Well, wonderful jungles. No, you go from the snow peaks down to the lagoons, the paramos, then the tropical rainforest, some cats that we have there. Good friends, they are good friends. Well, all sorts of snakes, some very poison. No, you have to walk there inside the jungle with a lot of care because you cannot see them. No? But when you approach, and this is something very interesting, when you approach and there is a snake, for example, no, she moves a little bit, and you can immediately perceive the movement. So you take care about it. No? This is something very, very important. The Caribbean coast, no, a wonderful place. The flamingos, we have beautiful, and the alligators, they live also, the last Caribbean population of alligators in Colombia is located in the Sierra Nevada, the Santa Marta. Then we have dry areas, and we have the desert. You know? In the past, in 1502, the Spaniards came into the Sierra Nevada for the first time. They saw from the sea the big snow peaks, and they were attracted, and they came to the Sierra Nevada, and they found different kind of indigenous groups inside the Sierra. The Betoma people, the Tairona people, the Ramada, well, and they mention and they produce a map about what they have found there. The Tairona people, they were very, very important people, a very developed culture at that time, wonderful pottery, gold figures, masters of gold. That's why Colombia is called the land of El Dorado. We have a fantastic gold museum in Colombia. I invite you to be there when you are in Bogota. Please visit the gold museum. It's something very unique because all the ancient cultures, they were related to gold objects, and they produce masterpieces of gold. Stones, no, the Tairona people, they were a stone culture, so all their tools were made by stones. Beautiful cornalines and quartz and other kind of stones. And they establish a great complex of towns and cities, all interconnected by stone roads through the whole Sierra. We found in the last 30 years more than 450 towns and cities in the middle of the jungle. No? So this was a reconstruction of the lost city. It's called the lost city in the Sierra Nevada. They produce a special kind of technologies because it's a place where you have a lot of rain every day. And there are some very simple lessons. For example, in the mornings, you have a lot of sun. No? The sun comes, rise, and the temperature is wonderful. In the afternoon, it rains a lot. But the stones, they keep warm. So for health, it's very important that the evaporation of water in the cities was because of the stones, the materials that they use for their the building of the terraces, and look, it's monumental. Good, let's go. This is a model on how they were inside the mountain, and it's a continuum. No? A continuum. There is an idea that when the Spaniards arrived to the Sierra Nevada, there were something like 1.5 million people living in the Sierra, with a high culture, high developed culture, a lot of engineering, the way how they manage the water system to avoid erosion because it's a very steep mountain. And the Spaniards came 1502. They arrived to the Sierra, and what they wanted the gold. They were behind the gold. And richness. This is a great difference between the American cultures, because gold for the indigenous people is not something to get rich. It's something spiritual. No? The big difference between the Europeans and the American people, it was this big difference about richness and spirituality. Two ways of understanding life, two ways of approaching your society, two ways of producing an adaptation system to complex ecosystems like the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. They battle with the indigenous people, with the Tairona especially, for almost 100 years. And then they win the last battle in 1599. And this last battle, they order to the indigenous people to go down to the lowlands to have control over these people, to have a workforce, but at the same time to expand their new approach to agriculture. And this agriculture, it was cattle, for example, with cattle, new kind of crops, and they establish a new way of life in the Sierra Nevada and the surroundings areas. This is also a big change. Some of the indigenous people, they went inside the mountain and they disappeared there. Others went down to be controlled by the Spaniards. After, in the 19th century, there was a great interest in Latin America from the researchers, for example, Alexander von Humboldt, and many, many others from Europe especially. They went to visit different places in Latin America. And they, in the case of the Sierra Nevada, they make different explorations inside the mountain, and they found again the indigenous people. They were concentrated inside the mountain. They could keep isolate from the whole, and that's what we have today. In 1950, there was a great violence inside Colombia, a political violence. And many peasants from the inside of Colombia, they migrated to the Sierra Nevada. We will see a little bit about the model of the peasants. How they came, they abandoned their traditional territories, and they came to be safe in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. First, they took the wood. It's economic value. No? This was part of the economy. They start to colonize the Sierra Nevada. They established their houses over the old terraces of the Tairona people. Wonderful places, very near to the water, with a very good climate and very good soils. Then they found a lot of gold pieces and pottery inside the tombs, and they start to loot all the tombs of the Tairona people. There was a huge commerce and trade of archaeological objects. No, the gold objects of the Tairona, and then you can see many shops in one of the nearby cities in Santa Marta selling the pottery and the stones and the gold objects of the Tairona people, because it was a huge commerce of people that established their economy because of what they could find inside the ancient Tairona places. Then they start to produce coffee. We have a wonderful coffee, you know, the best coffee in the world. It's the Colombian coffee. Of course, it's a wonderful place to grow coffee. So this was part of the economy. Then it was something. Who is coming from North America? From you? 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 How many people is from North America? Yes. Yes. You? Mexico, who is coming from Mexico? You are coming from Mexico. And the other, where are you coming from? Huh? So, from Europe? Most of you. Okay, wonderful. Well, you may recognize this plant. No, this is the marijuana. It was, no, you don't recognize it? Okay, good. It was in the 70s, it was a huge fight against marijuana crops in Mexico, especially at the border with the United States. It was a huge trade of marijuana going inside North America, and it was a huge fight. And this fight produced something. This was they split the crops of marijuana through the whole Caribbean, through the islands, Jamaica, for example, some other islands, and it came to the Sierra Nevada also. No? So the peasants, they start to grow marijuana. And you know something? It was the best marijuana in the world. So, again, high quality. No, and this high quality produce new markets, a great demand. But at the same time, it produced the deforestation of the Sierra Nevada and Santa Marta. More than 100,000 hectares have been cut down to produce marijuana. And it created a great disaster on the environment, on the indigenous people, on the peasants. This was part of the trade. You can see with mules, they put on-site the mules big amounts of marijuana to take it to the ships and send it to North America. Most of the people behind the business were Americans. No? They put the money to make such kind of thing. Then it was a situation to destroy the marijuana fields with fumigation. This was not good. And because of the social problems behind marijuana trade, the guerrillas came inside the Sierra Nevada, the paramilitary groups, armed groups behind the marijuana. So it created a very violent atmosphere. So you can see the change through the time about one specific area in Colombia. And obviously, the damage, the environmental damage, you could see it in the water resource. Most of the rivers became to be something like that in the lowlands. So it was also an economic problem for the development of the lowlands, very rich lands for the tourism, and the trade of water became also a big business. Okay, so we are talking today about cultural diversity. What does it mean? In the case of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, we have the Kogi people today, very, very interesting people. We will see something about them. Then you have the Arhuaco people, other indigenous community, the Cancuamo, the Wiwa people. But these are the farmers, the campesinos, the peasants, most from different sides of Colombia. So it produced a great mixture of cultural components inside the Sierra. And then you have the lowlands, very fertile lowlands, and you have coal also in the Guajira, very near to the Sierra Nevada. Very big mines of coal. So it started to be the business sector, the political sector, different kind of human groups, and the indigenous people in the middle of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. Nearby, you have the Guajiro people. It's another indigenous community who live in the Guajira Peninsula. It's the desert. Then you have the Cancuamo people. It's a mixture between indigenous people. They were indigenous. Now they are more peasants. And they are returning to be indigenous people because of our new constitution. They provide many very important cultural protections in Colombia. Then you have the Wiwa people. You see how they part indigenous, part peasants. Then you have the Arhuaco people. It's a very consistent and very strong group. The priesters, they were inside their territory, the Capuchinos, for more than 100 years. And it created a great distortion at that time. And then you have the Kogi. They have been really isolated from everything. Then you have the fishermen nearby in the swamps. Then you have the cities, citizens like us. Then you have the big banana and palm oil crops and cattle in the most fertile lands inside Colombia, because you have a wonderful quality of land in the lowlands. Then you have the coal minings and the Sierra Nevada again. Okay, we will go to the Kogi people. Fantastic people. They have a mission. The mission is to protect nature. This is the only mission that they have, to live together with nature and to protect nature. This is something very unique. 2 months ago, I received the visit of the highest priest of the Kogi people, the mama. Mama means son. No? He's in relation to son. He is a mama also. No? He dies. And he was fascinated being here in Germany. We visit some museums. We establish contacts at a very high level with Klaus Topfer, who was environmental minister of Germany some years ago, but at the same time he was the director general of UNEP, the United Nations Environmental Program. He has been many times mentioned to be the president of Germany. And I invited him to the Sierra some years ago. We were there, and he was fascinated. So when the Mama and the Cabildo governor came, he invited them to have a special kind of dinner. And then we have also very, very high-level meetings with other people here in Berlin. This is some of the towns. This is, for me, very special because it's Sejua. Sejua is like my town. When I go there, it's the place where I stay. It's from one of the most prominent chiefs of the Kogi people. For them, the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, the mountain is like a house. It's a home, no? So you can find all times figures where you see how a house is like a mountain. Obviously, when you died, then your soul goes up into the mountain, and then you can from there look to the social behavior of the community. And you, as a community, you have to go to pay offers up to the mountain. Big stones are also places where the Mama, the priestess, can go inside the Sierra. No? But they are also, in some ideas, a house. Everything is represented on stones, on nature, on the big trees, on the rivers, on the different kind of plant and animal species, the soils, obviously the el firmamento, the sky, all the stars. You can read them. Your behavior is related to the stars, to the energy that the stars provide. And they know it very, 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 very well. No? Then you have the lagoons. No? This is the center where here you can see a double figure. No? The world, the outside world, but the inside world. No? And you can read it through the water. So it's a very different way of understanding the world as we have. And this is very important. This is very, very important. Then all the lagoons are connected through the rivers to the sea. The sea is the first place of everything in their traditions. No? And all the energies of the Sierra, they go very fluently from the mountains up, from the lagoons, down to the sea. And there is a great contribution of all the rivers in relation to the offers the nature gave or give to the sea. What is it? You have heavy rain, then all the seeds from the different ecosystems, they go through the water. And they come down as an offer of all the different kind of seeds of the Sierra Nevada, of all the different species to the sea. And then the indigenous people, they go down to the sea, they collect it to bring it up again to pay. And this is a very spiritual way of paying what you are taking to, in a material way, to look. Here you go to pay up in the mountain. There are very long ceremonies up there. All the different holes and seats, they have a special meaning. They are the footprints of ancient people. So they put there also some seeds, some cotton strings that are also very, very important for the protection of everything. Their houses, their towns. This is to provide fertility, no? You need fertility or not? This is very important, no? Very, very important.
Your Excellency, do you have a picture of the inside of these houses?
Yes, not here. Not here. Next time. No? But they are very different, and I will show something, for example. They have different kind of towns. These are the big towns. Many times you arrive to a big town. Nobody. You say, where is the people? The people are in other ecosystem or are doing a special kind of ceremony. And this town can be for 1 month with nobody there. No a cat, no a dog, no a chicken, nothing. They take everything up into the mountains, and they move from one ecosystem to the other. This is the way how they manage and protect the mountain also, because the land need to rest like us. Everybody needs to rest. So you cannot use, and look, when you have, for example, in the case today of our peasants, they use only one plot, the whole year, every year, the whole life. The land cannot rest. So the productivity goes down also. And the diversity of products, you don't have diversity of products. With the sierra, you have all kinds of products. And so you can move from up, down, and you can have up the potatoes and down the corn and the manioc. And, well, you have all kinds of. Well, this is one, again, more fertility. I believe in fertility. Other kind of towns, no? Other kind of towns. This is Ulueji, a beautiful place. You can see some of the crops. This is the malanga here, surrounding the, and you have, well, the big ceremonial houses for men, ceremonial houses for women. Then you have a square house when outside people go there. They never go. No, they don't want to have people there. No, when you arrive to the Kogi territory, how you say, hello, how are you? And they say, when are you leaving? No, this is the way how it goes. This is also fertility. This is more complex because it's the first blood that the young lady have in his life. Then they have a special ceremony, and then they put these, ¿cómo se llaman los murciélagos? The bats. They are bats because the young lady has been bitten by a bat. No? So the representation goes up into the ceremonial house. This is more very special places for ceremonies up in the mountain. No? And they have a special kind of dances and ceremonies, very, very complex ceremonies. You cannot sleep for 3 nights, 3 days, and for very deep ceremonies. You are sleeping now. So for very, very, very deep ceremonies, you have to stay, to be awake 7 days and 7 nights. You have to chew a lot of coca leaves, no? And the poporo. This is well, this is part of the tradition of the Indian cultures. No? Well, many symbolism. No? These are other kind of ceremonial places. This is Makotama, up in the river. Beautiful ceremonies there. A lot of pottery up on the roof. San Miguel, Seju again. So you find many, many different kind of places. In each of the different rivers, you find a very complex system of behavior, of ceremonies, and so on. Well, the people, the men, they concentrate in front of the ceremonial house to talk about important issues. It's the place where you can talk from 6 in the morning to 12 in the day. When the sun is exactly there, then you finish your work. If you are a mama, if you are a priest, well, it's something when they have to take decisions. All the decisions are collective decisions and are decisions by consensus. And just a second. You know, we can say that we decide, but who is behind our decisions? This is. And this is all over the world with different systems, with different approaches. No, this is the mamas. They are people who have been trained for long periods of their life. They have been chosen when they are 1 year old. They are taken inside a ceremonial house or inside a cave up in the mountain, and he cannot see the light of the sun for the next 9 years. He can only walk by night when he moves from one side to the other, and he can go with the light of the moon. I don't know, because we live in cities. We cannot perceive the importance of the moon. No? We see, beautiful moon, it's rising, full moon. No? Nothing else. But the moon is something very, very important, very important. And when you are in the jungle, you can walk by night with the light of the moon. No? Because it's a wonderful light. And the moon, it's a female. So you are with some light of the female. So the mamas, they receive the consultation of all the community. When there are big problems, you have to confess. But confession is something very important. You cannot go alone. You have to go with all your family, because Your problem is a family problem. No, it's a family problem. It's not your own problem. Why? Because when you are conceived at the beginning, then your parents must think about what they are creating. It starts from the beginning. No? So it goes step by step, and you have to take care about the baby from the beginning. No? And the behavior from the man and woman and the family must be a special kind of behavior when a new creature is coming to the world. And the mamas, they know very well all the traditions. No? They can talk to everybody, they hear, and they give their opinions in a very, very wise manner. Something that is highly important, let me say highly important, is that the old people is the most important people of the community. Because they have knowledge. They know, they have history, they have knowledge. It's also something very different with our society today. What can we do with my parents? They are old. Put them away. No. The mamas, the oldest mama, he has the last word for everything. He's in consultation with the other mamas, and he's very, very well respected. And the ladies, obviously. For one mama, you have a Saha. Saha is a mom. No? Mama is the son. And the Saha, she has been trained also to be the wife of a mama. And he complements everything in the knowledge and the tradition of the culture. So many times when you go with the stone and you say to a mama, what is the name of this stone? We will see some of the stones, because to take decisions you need stones. You take the stone. What is the name of this stone? The mama looked to it. Where is Saha? So Saha knows. He doesn't know. No? My very good friend, Mama Valencio, he's from the Jaguar. He's a Jaguar. He's the son. He was the son of the son. He dies 4 years ago. It was a great pain because he was like my father. No, I went all the time to be with him. Now I work very close with her son, who is the new mama. But he was a master, a wonderful man. So all day they come together to discuss about the different topics. You can start to talk, and you have to talk 1, 2, 3 hours, and they hear. Then one of them, they talk 1 hour. But this is not this situation where everybody talks at the same time, everyone. No, you have to hear. No? And after it, then you can understand, and then if you have an opinion, then you can elaborate on it. The stones, they are the stones. No, different kind of stones. Se nos acabó el tiempo, 5 minutes. So to take the decision, to take a decision, you take water, you take a stone with a hole, and un calabacito, una totumita, a bowl. You have a bowl. Each of the mamas, they have their own bowl, and they have their own stones, and there are different kinds of stones. Then you can, for a specific topics, you take a quartz, for example, or a cornalline for some others. And then you put it inside the water. Because it has a hole, it produces some bubbles. Bloop, bloop, bloop. You look to the bubbles, and you see if it goes to the north, to the south, when they explode, if they come together, if they are tiny, if they are big. And so they read it, and they can take a decision after all the mammals together have written the same in the bowl. Very complex form of taking decisions. So you can see how they, there you have the example. Well, here you see a meeting where all of them have their bowls here. Everybody is looking to it, no? Then you have the, and they read, and they read, and they look to it. They don't write. Everything is oral. But they have a special kind of wood and stone figures where they can read all the traditions, where they are their books in some way. This is the universe. No, the different layers, the different worlds, 9 worlds up, 9 worlds of the dark, 9 worlds, and then you have the construction of the whole universe and the history of the culture and so on. Astronomy, the Sierra, it's a mother, and the mother, it's, this is the figure of the mother, the most important mountains. And you can see it's also very complex. The sun rises here in June. In December, it rises here. It moves from here to there, from there to here, through the whole year. And there you can see everything. You can read, you can look, you can see what will be the weather, when you have to plant the seeds, when you have to marriage, when you have to be fertile, and so on. Music for the ceremonies. No, it's something very important. Then the very traditional dances. They keep their gold objects. No, this is the only one in America who keep here you can see. Okay. Something inside. No, the pottery that they have, the family, nice food, working together, self-efficient, the coca plantations, the women, they collect the coca leaves. Then you see, they are big trees, no? They are trees from 20, 30, 40, 50. There are 2 trees of more than 100 years, big ones. Then you bring the shells from the coast and burn them to produce a calc to introduce and to chew the coca, and you have the calc inside your poporo. The poporo is given to you when you change from your childhood to be a man. And they gave you a poporo, and then you can have your first relation with a woman, and then the poporo, it's a woman. So you keep it all the time. You are all the time with the woman, no? So don't to remember, no? Well, other kind of, I am sorry that we have so few time. Hunting, yeah, you need to hunt, but when? You have some time to hunt. You cannot, and you can only take the big animal, no the babies. So there are clear rules, all kind of bones. They make their own clothes with cotton. Well, training. But the last message that I want to give to you. The Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta in our present days is divided in 3 different states, 18 different municipalities, 2 national parks, 3 different indigenous territories. What does it mean? Many figures overlapped. Many laws. But the sense is that the Kogi people and the group of indigenous people of the Sierra, they want a very different way of development. And when they come together with the president to talk about it, they said, Mr. President, our development is not in relation to have roads or electricity. Our development is in regard to protect nature. So what we need is land to keep the species, to maintain the vitality of the Sierra Nevada. And in the last 30 years, I have to say that it was possible to give them back a great portion of land that has been lost over the years. The traditional territory of the Kogi is this line here, the black line. And all these small points, the red points, are sacred places. Sacred places when at the beginning the mother and father of the snake or of the jaguar or of some special family, they grow there. This was the ancestors where they start. And for them, this is very important because they have to pay offers, they have to take care about it. But they are in the lowlands. And the lowlands, now they have a big development of cities, towns, roads, all agriculture. And very recently, 2 months ago, it was possible to give them back this very important place. We talked 20 years about it. And only 2 months ago, we could give them 1.5 kilometers of beach on the Caribbean coast in a specific sacred site. And I believe what I have seen in the past 35 years, the land, the territory of the indigenous people, because of all the problems that they face at that time, was getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And we came to a conclusion that there must be a very special a spiritual work with the mamas to stop such kind of dynamic and to open again the space. Now the dynamic is to open again the space. It has the recognition of the national government. This has been declared a special kind of sacred site for the first time in Colombia to protect the sacred site. I believe it opens a new way of approaching to difference in our views in a very complex country like Colombia. They have been they have never been involved in any illegal procedures. They work only on their own dynamics and in their culture. And I believe that this has been a wonderful teaching process for all of us. A teaching process that make possible that these water resource of the Sierra Nevada, in a new concept, can be protected to provide development of other groups of the society in the lowlands, but with great respect for indigenous people. Clean waters, they have clean waters. They have wonderful forests. Mama Valencio. And this is the last picture when our president, Juan Manuel Santos, became president. He came the first day, he was the inauguration. And he decided to be there very early in the morning. Many people were against it, because how you president, how are you going to the indigenous people for your inauguration? This cannot be so. And you are waiting, 3,500 people are waiting you in Bogota at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What happens if the helicopter cannot come down because the weather, no? So you cannot do it. We make it. And it was possible that he came with the family to talk to the mamas to talk to him, to give a special kind of ideas and contributions about the way of they think in the protection of nature. And this was something very, very important, I have to say, to bridge such kind of gaps between the political sector, but at the same time, our cultural diversity. I believe that we need to have a great respect for cultural diversity. We cannot, we have to avoid the destruction of our cultures in the world. We need to have a cultural dialogue. We need to see how to maintain the environments of different cultures that know a lot about how to manage a special kind of ecosystems. They have been involved for hundreds of years in relation to very fragile ecosystems. And that's why I believe that the contribution of indigenous people and cultural diversity is so important for the huge crisis that we are living in our world today. Thank you very much.